How's it guys? Welcome back to yet again another episode of Bassing with Sasha. We're going to be doing a tournament season recap, and we're going to be talking about tactics, weights and positions
and lack of
confidence and all that good stuff. Let's dive into this video and we'll start off with our first dam. First comp, beginning of this year, was Arabi. Yeah, it was a tough day, eh?
It was tough. We started off struggling, hardcore.
Just to give you guys a little bit of a backstory, James and myself, we actually fished there the classics the year before, and first day I actually lost the fish on this specific bank. There was a nice big boulder there and she was hanging out there. Second day we shot out there, and funniest thing ever, somebody else actually caught her, and these people weren't even in the competition. But that was our tactic for our 2.5, and I actually caught her and lost her, and I did not even get that on camera,
which would have been your PB
at that time. But yeah, this comp, beginning of the year, we actually did that exact same thing. We had so much confidence in that spot, so we shot out there first thing, threw a couple of things like drop shots, jerk baits, top waters we threw as well, but we got no luck. We got no bites. But like James said, the day was extremely tough. I think we fished like halfway throughout the whole day, and then we picked up on a pattern.
Yeah, we moved up into the main dam and started fishing the grassier banks, and we started actually getting some bites and some action off of that tactic.
Yeah, so the bait that we were throwing was actually a 6 cent clout, a lamination basically. It was the electric shiner.
Lamination station.
And it's pretty funny, yeah, the lamination station was the phrase of the weekend, or of that day. Yeah, we caught a couple of fish, we got bag, and it wasn't very, very big. We actually had seen a couple of other videos on YouTube out at Arabi where people were actually catching really good fish off the wall. James had extreme amount of confidence fishing off the wall or at the wall, so we decided to do that, and
that's where it got interesting.
Extremely interesting. We noticed that fishing a dam wall, especially at Texas rig, you lose a lot of tackles. What we realized is that if you cast it and you don't get a bite, then you snagged. And that was basically our day. Either it was a fish or a snag. We lost, I would say, a grand's worth of tackle.
And the thing is, like, most of the time, you like in that situation, you would say, okay, cool, it's not worth it, let's leave.
Yes.
But almost cast for cast, we were getting bites, and they felt so good every single time. So we stuck it out, we pushed through. Yes. It hurt a lot, but we pushed through, and I think it was worth it at the end.
Obviously, right at the end, I think we had about half an hour to go. Not even. I think it was
like 10-15 minutes.
We knew that that from the dam wall to the launch was about 7 minutes, so we really pushed it. And James actually was checking his 360 and his down scan, and he saw this massive view, and it was so pronounced. So he took a stroker crawl, black and blue, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Texas rigged, and he literally just dropped his bait down, and I think he literally hit the fish on the head.
Yeah, you could literally see the U go down, and then there was just dust everywhere, like thrown up on the scanner. And then I just saw my line switching out to the side and set the hook.
And he caught a, what was it, 2.6? 2.5 right at the end, and we landed the fish, shot out to the launch, put our tag on. Yeah, lucky that we caught that fish.
I think so far still to this day that was my favorite moment out of the whole season. It was just like the intensity of like last few minutes of the comp. We got to still get back. But if we don't get a good fish now, we might as well not go back. So
Correct.
It's like this real kind of catch-22 stage. But it was a lot of fun, and yeah, that moment was very dope.
Our final weight was 5.18 kilos, which isn't very good, but It's not terrible either, and that weight actually pushed us into 9th place. So we were extremely happy with that top 10, you know, first time actually properly fishing a season, committing to it. We did extremely well and we were pumped.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Arabi, and yeah, we did alright.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Second comp was Rest of Winter, and James and myself, we have no confidence in this dam. Every time we fished it, we've done extremely badly. We can never figure out a pattern. All the times that we've actually fished it, it's actually rained.
Yes. No, that dam hates us. It absolutely hates us. If we were to go there tomorrow, I wouldn't know what to pack.
No.
I would have no idea. And we've fished it a couple times now, and still to this day I'd have absolutely no clue. I'd fish it like it's a completely new body of water.
Us being very confident in rocky structure, throwing Texas rigs, drop shots, Ned rigs on my side, but we like to feel the bottom, and Rest of Winter is literally grass everywhere. It's sandy, it's sludgy, so it's not really up our alley.
Oh, remember, we actually went to Boskop to practice for Risties, because it's a similar kind of layout on the dam.
Correct.
And we crushed it at Boskop. So we followed that same tactic. Whap, whap, whap.
Absolute fail. But yeah, James did his homework and he actually saw a nice drop off just by the old wall. If you guys have fished Rest of Winter, it's grassy. It's like a bottle brush grass, kind of looks very similar. And we actually caught on jerkbaits, which was quite interesting. But it worked, you know. I think we got bag at that specific point, at that specific ledge. And so this is what we actually did: is we fished that. I think we got bag, and then we started moving. So we actually went to that first point off the dam wall, and we actually followed that whole bank. But the dam is it's got like a lot of lily pads on the side, grassy and all that. So I bust out my top water, that Vega frog, chuck it there, miss a fish. So extremely bummed, you know. It was a good fish. So we like move out again, you know, we like quite bummed out. And then another team, Lappies and Sean, team 5 Alive, they actually are like, yeah, can we come past you guys? So the good guys that we are, we let them go past, and Lappies chucks in a chatterbait, a green pumpkin chatterbait, and he catches the fish I missed. Doesn't matter, they caught that fish, they did extremely well that comp, but whatever. On that drop off, I was actually punching a Guggen Saucy Swimmer in a 3.3 inch, and I lost a really good one. That was purely my fault. I didn't have my drag set. So James, I think, reminds me every time to set my drag. So yeah, I missed that fish. That was a good fish. Could have been a good kicker, but whatever. In the main dam, we find this little pocket, and James does a whole phone call with his rod, and he asks the fish to pick up his bait. But he had that same bait that we threw at Robbie, that electric shiner, the lamination station on it, and he was just crushing it. I think we upgraded as well a couple. We started punching in the river in the lily pads and up against the grass. We caught nothing. We just can't figure that dam out. Like an hour to go, James was like, the sun is coming down, we need to just throw frogs. So we threw frogs all the time, and I landed maybe a kilo fish on the frog.
Fish. And you nearly had like a heart attack.
Yeah,
it
was
extremely amped up.
Yeah, very amped up.
Yeah.
After that fish, I think we shot right back into the main dam, right in the corner again.
Same spot by that couple.
Same spot, and James also, he caught a really good one, maybe round about a kilo as well. And it was last minute again.
Yeah, it was literally like get the fish on the boat, unhook live well, and off to weigh in. It was really cutting it super fine once again.
But yeah, the comp, we didn't do so great. We came 23rd with a weight of 2.64 kilos. But yeah, we have good dams, we have bad dams. So yeah, that's just not our confidence dam.
Interesting enough though, I was actually chatting to one of the other teams that did very well there. And I've got some tactics for next year.
Okay.
So hopefully we can redeem ourselves a little bit.
our third comp was out at Ridderkoppies, and
Flying fish.
yeah, this one was a little bit of it was quite hard sore. James was fiddling with the motor and all that, and he realized that his VRO pump was broken, or not broken.
No,
it was broken,
It wasn't pumping oil.
and he got he got another one, and he fitted that like 2 days before the comp, and everything was shop. It was just smoky as hell, and we were like,
No,
sweet.
the new one was perfect. It was idling hundreds,
perfect.
no smoke, like a little bit of white smoke, which is what you want with the 2-stroke motors. So it was hundreds. And then we get to the dam, put the boat in the water, starts up, beep, the alarm goes off. It's not getting any oil. So VRO pump busted out, and also we had number 4, which is my lucky number.
Yeah.
And we had to cancel our launch, go back to the bank, swap out the pump to the old one. So that delayed us by a little bit, but we got it done quite quick.
Yeah,
we were
did
prepped
right.
for it. We were prepped for it to break.
Basically,
So
yes. The day was tough. I can't even say much about it. We fished very hard, and we caught dinks,
I remember moving a lot.
tiny
We
dinks.
moved a hell of a lot because we left the launch. We went left on the left-hand fork down a bit, and we got our first fish very quickly on the crank.
Correct, yes.
Then we headed up all the way up to
The first trees.
yes, we went to the 2 trees.
2 trees.
Nothing.
Nothing. And then we just shot from
Then we
side to
just
side.
all over the dam. Yeah.
And then I remember we went into Croc Bay. Our hopes were low. We were gonna think that we weren't gonna catch nothing, and we actually did catch. We caught a lot on wacky rigs and Texas rigs, but they were tiny little fish again.
Yeah, very small. Then on our way back to weigh-in, also a few minutes left, we decided to stop off at the Big Rock, and we held off it. It was nice and windy, the wind was blowing into the rocks, and I thought, no, there must be some good fish hanging on, because the rock comes out into quite a long point. So casting Texas down there, dragging it down the rock point as we go, and in the last few minutes I felt a very subtle pull down, set the hook. It felt really, really big, but unfortunately pulled the hook, and we had to call it. We didn't have any more time to try again to catch it. So yeah, that was the streak of my catching the decent fish at the end of the comps done at this point. That never really happened again.
Yeah, and I was relying on this guy because the 2 comps ago he catches in like the last minutes,
Yeah.
and he had one on and he had to lose it. But that's fishing, I guess, and that happens.
What was our place on that one?
So we came 16th, which was a shocker actually, because we thought we were going to do even worse than that. So 16th wasn't too bad, but our bag size was 1.78 kilos. It was
Terrible.
terrible.
I think that also kind of shows how tough the day was in general. I mean, everyone was struggling.
Yeah.
Except for like first position. I think they got like a 7-kilo bag.
We've also realized that there's 4 teams in our league that do extremely well every time.
Yeah. Anywhere,
Anywhere.
everywhere.
And
Anytime,
anything
yeah.
under 4th place is just terrible. You know, and including us, you know, we really fished hard, and
Yes, we tried,
we did terrible as well in a lot of comps, but in some comps we did extremely well. This is a very touchy subject. So Ridderkoppies, that was our 3rd comp, Ridderkoppies, and
Which is my favorite dam.
correct,
Okay.
and we did terrible. But regardless of that story, that was actually our last day fishing off the VX, and James had actually been working on a deal with Neil from Escape Boating to get a Crackleback 530. And we had the deal or James had the deal all ready and everything, and I think a day or 2 before comp.
No, it was the Friday.
It was
we went
the
to
Friday.
go fetch the boat the Friday. We all had at the tackle
Yes.
in the back of the car to pack it quickly, so we were prepped.
Yeah, so Friday we're sitting at Escape Boating and the boat's not ready. So Witbank Dam would have been our 4th comp, and that is my favorite dam. And we didn't even fish
And we were
it.
confident.
And I was extremely confident
very
that we were
confident.
going to do extremely well. There's not much that we can talk about the dam, so we came last and we weighed 0.
The positive note though, our tactic was to go river, even though everyone said don't go river, the river's not producing, and the first, second and third place bags came out of the river that comp. So we were on the right track.
I guess these are the things that happen.
It happens.
So yeah, we jumped from, I would say we were mid pack by the 4th comp.
Yeah, I think we were
and-
like 14th. 15th,
Which was-
14th. It was good.
which was very good. You know, we had a hope to getting into Spionkop, and we were
National champs,
pumped. And yeah, after that we were like, we're never gonna make it. We're never gonna make it. It's impossible. But yeah, that was Witbank Dam. Not much else to say about that. After Witbank, we came last. As I said, it was Bronkies, which.
We were yes, we were not up. We were okay. So it wasn't originally Bronkies.
No, it was. It was always Bronkies.
No, we were never going to fish Bronkies this
Oh,
year.
yes.
It was De Whip.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it was
wasn't.
Vaal River.
It was Vaal River, but there was timber going down the Vaal River, so they made a call to change it out because it was too dangerous to put boats on the river. So we went to Bronkies, and when they said we're not going to fish Vaal, we're picking a new venue, I had this gut feeling that they were going to choose Bronkies, and I was hoping to God that they would not. But I was actually quite happy that they did.
It was extremely cold, so this was middle of winter. Obviously we missed the Witbank comp, which was also middle of winter, so our first comp in middle of winter was Bronkies. Extremely cold.
So cold.
So cold. So we get there super early, we ready. So there's a ton amount of fog on a mist on the water, and there was an hour delay, so we had a whole hour taken off our 8 hours of fishing. Good thing is that after Witbank, all the stuff with the boat got sorted and we actually got to use the boat. But there were other stories with the boat.
Yeah, well, we had some issues with transducers that time, so we didn't get any water temps or water depth, or the 360 wasn't really working too good for us. It got us through the day. We fished,
Yeah.
it fished well. The motor ran fine.
Yeah, it was extremely funny. So we're busy fishing off of this rock pile that James saw on the 360, and turns out his 360 had been shifted a
Yeah, it was
whole
facing the wrong
90
direction.
degree, and I was like, no, that rock pile is there. James was like, no, the rock pile is there. He's fishing out into the river section where we actually were fishing, and he couldn't feel rock. But I'm fishing up against the bank and I could just feel rock. But it was pure luck that I actually found this rock pile, because I was actually catching fish on a drop shot a lot, and that actually got us bag.
And I was too stubborn because we still fixed the 360, and there was another rock pile that was in deeper water, and I was convinced that there was a big fish sitting there because it's in the river channel. There must be fish sitting on that rock pile.
Yes.
So I was stubborn. Even though Sasha was catching fish, I was fishing this rock pile alone. And then I decided he was stuffing, and I turned around and fished the rock pile and managed to get like an 800 gram, 1
kilo.
And that was our kicker for the day. It
Yeah.
was extremely tough.
So the funniest story is obviously with our transducer issues, our electronical
that
issues,
was
we
that
couldn't
same
see.
fish.
Yeah, we couldn't see depth. We couldn't figure out water temp, nothing. So Bass Venom, Bass World Venom is another team, Vian and Wynand. They actually came towards us and they were like, can they quickly pass past us? So we had a little bit of a chat. James was saying how we battling with our electronics. They laughed at us a little bit. So as a nice guy Vian is, he was like, well, if it helps you, the water temp is 14 degrees. I promise you, I think seconds after that, James hooks into this 1 kilo fish, and that was our kicker, and it actually helped us out.
You still shouted it, and thanks for the water temp.
Yeah, and it was extremely funny because they saw James catch that fish and he laughed, and yeah, it was a good time.
It was a good day.
But yeah, Bronkies is not our confidence dam either. We've been there 3 times now. No, twice. 3 times.
Yeah, and the
Us
first
two.
time was because we were full lockdown. We couldn't go into another province, so that was
Correct.
our only dam that we could fish, and we hated it.
Correct, yes.
Uh,
That's it. We only
That's
been
it.
there twice,
Yeah.
yeah. With our weight, I cannot believe it. We actually came 7th,
yeah, we tied for 7th.
which was unbelievable. We were extremely stoked. Actually, I was very happy we made top 10, and it had been our best position throughout the comp, and we weighed 2.9 kilos. It's still not big, but as James said in Ridderkoppies, everybody was struggling, and you could see how tough the day was that we actually made 7th place. Yeah, and that basically sums up our day out at Bronkies.
Oh. I'm not even going to be in this video. I'm going to catch a single fish.
Vegeboom was our 6th comp. We were extremely pumped for this.
I was very excited for Vegeboom.
This dam has a ton amount of structure, and James, as he always does, he's the tech savvy guy within the two of us, and he did so much research. He found ledges, he found rock piles, he found everything that we needed to find to actually execute to catch fish. Turns out the day was tough again, and we just made wrong calls. We actually shot out to the river. We picked one, and we were like, cool, river is now the dealio because people are catching fish out of the river. So we were like, sweet, run up the river, catch fish, quick, put them in the boat. We fish. I promise you, I think we fished for about 3 hours and we caught nothing.
And then as we're driving out of the river section, everyone starts coming in. We're like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So yeah, we pulled out there. We went to the main dam, and man, we suckled. We
went to the wall. We found that sand ledge there.
That as well, yeah.
And you managed to get.
I caught 2, 3 off that sand.
No, two.
I can't even remember where I caught my 3rd fish.
On the side of that boat launch.
Oh yes, yeah. And that wasn't a bad fish. But yeah, it was tough, and as I said, we just made the wrong calls. The day after the comp, we actually heard that the river turns on round about 11 o'clock. But yeah, there's not much to really talk about about this dam. We came 23rd, terrible day. You know, we obviously lost points just due to us weighing in 3 fish.
Yeah.
You know, and our total weight was 1.5 kilos. Not great again. You know, Spionkop was this close. You know, we were extremely close to it, and it just got pushed further away. And yeah, all hopes were lost, I think. We were like, it's not going to happen anymore.
Yeah, that was our write-off point. That was our point of realization. We're not making it to national champs. There's no chance. Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically, that sums up Vegeboom Dam. 7th comp, this was a dam that we were extremely pumped for because we've never fished it before. It holds the record South African bass. I'm not too sure what it is now, 7.69 kilos, something.
And there's theories from US boys that it holds the world record fish. And it will eventually come out of this particular dam. So we were extremely pumped.
The dam is Loskop Dam, massive body of water. We've never fished this dam in our life before, so we were also going in completely blind. We knew of one spot.
Yeah.
One spot and...
2 spots. We had 2 spots.
We had 2 spots. But the one spot, we had all hope for the spot. We pulled number 1. And while everybody was getting ready, I had the trawler motor in the water. James was sitting at the steering wheel, ready to go, and they call out number 1, but
we think they called out number 1. We're actually still not too sure if they did.
Yeah.
But we went.
So I'm busy buggering around with the trawler motor, trying to get it back on, but it was the wrong way around, and it was scratching the rails, and James was like, get the bloody thing on this because they're gonna disqualify us and they're gonna make us go last. So I get this thing on and we gun it. Boom! We fly up. We put, I don't even know, I think we put about 4 hours into that spot. And we caught 1 fish out of it.
It was a good fish though.
It was a good fish, 1 kilo.
It was decent. For first fish, first time on the dam, not
correct,
bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It was alright. Yes. So the day goes by and
tough.
Butterfly Bay, Then we decided Butterfly Bay sucked. We didn't catch nothing there, so then we moved to a random bank.
No, it was the other side of Butterfly Bay, and then we moved out of Butterfly Bay on
Correct.
that bank.
Yes. You know, it was actually quite funny because I was sitting there and I was saying to myself that this dam reminds me a lot of Witbank. Tied on a lipless crankbait. If you guys have seen my channel or my other Witbank videos, I throw a lipless crankbait, and it always catches fish regardless of the size. But in this comp, we didn't really care.
No.
We wanted to catch fish regardless. So cast it out there, and I was reeling and
Ripping it. The trawling motor was on 10. We were ripping those baits through the water.
and I had confident that we were going to catch something, and turns out that I caught my PB, 3.34 kilos. It was a good achievement. But other than that, the day after that was extremely tough. We had 2 fish in our well, and we went to a submerged road, and we caught our 3rd fish, and it wasn't too small. It was about 800 grams as well, on a drop shot, and we battled. Then we shot all the way into the river. I remember we floored it all the way in there.
Oh yes, because I found a little, like a really good looking spot on the river, and when we got there, the spot was great, but the water was chocolate, and the rest of the dam was super clear. And obviously, if you've watched any of Sasha's videos any time, we always, as soon as we see chocolate water, both of us just want to throw up in our mouths. We hate it so much. So we weren't very confident, but we gave it a good shot, and then we decided, we don't have much time left, let's shoot back down to that submerged road spot and see if we can just try get bag. Because even though we had a 3.34 in the boat, we would have lost 2 kilos because we only had 3 fish with us. So we shot back down there, and
we pulled out another 2. Last fish was caught in the last minutes again, but luckily we were about
literally
5
it was
minutes.
last cast. We actually saw it on the finder. Sasha dropped on, and our hearts just dropped because we knew that was it. We had done it. We had made bag. Doesn't matter how big this fish is. We just need it on the boat.
So lucky, so lucky. The day we actually came 6th. So this was our best comp.
Best bag so far, best position so far, and I blanked. Didn't catch a single fish. So well done.
Thank you.
You carried the team hardcore that round. Your back must have been killing you after that.
Our total bag was 5.88 kilos. So also, just by our bag size, me catching my PB, you can see how tough it was for us to be 7th, and how everybody else battled also to catch fish.
Except for Bass World Venom.
Except for Bass World Venom, they caught 15.6 kilos. I don't know. They were
ridiculous,
crushing it.
Ridiculous.
They absolutely hammered the fish. But otherwise, Loskop was an amazing experience, and we definitely want to go back there. And that sums up Loskop Dam.
Next up on the list. This is an interesting story.
So
this is a story now.
So this comp, I'm gonna leave everything up to this man because
He ditched me.
I had a wedding to go to and I couldn't miss it. All to you, my man.
But it was ridiculously tough. I just could not figure the fish out whatsoever. So my tactic was to punch hyacinth, because there was rumors that the fish were creating beds under the hyacinth. They weren't creating them in exposed water. So that was the first thing I did. I went to the wall, to the right hand side of the wall where all that hyacinth sits, and there's nice big sandbanks, and I was punching hyacinth, got nothing. Then fished some sand flats. You could actually see the beds. They were all empty though. Fishing the drop-offs off of those flats and all of that. Got nothing. Eventually went back to the hyacinth on the way out of the wall section, and I finally got in the dirtiest, sludgiest water that I fished the whole day. Finally got my first tiny little thinker.
Fish is a fish, eh?
Carried on fishing the wall section, got nothing. Kicked it all the way down to Croc Bay and John's Bank, where we've done so well in the past. Last year, a similar time, we crushed it.
Very well. Yeah.
Crushed it in that dam, in that same spot, and managed to get another little dinker off of a fence there, and then nothing for the rest of the day. I fished that same bank that we practiced on the week before, nothing. kicked it all the way down, back to the wall, tried there again, nothing. Scanned for hours, I scanned looking for submerged rock piles or something, so I thought they were maybe still sitting quite deep, because the water was sitting at like 17 to 18, sometimes 19 degrees, so obviously your deeper water is much colder, so I thought that they might still be sitting deeper and the females were still waiting to push up. Nothing. On my way back in, I decided to pull in next to the big rock. There's a little bay there, and there was a nice big pile of hyacinth there, and I got a really decent fish there, 1.5 kilo. Doesn't help though, because I only had 3 fish on the boat. Went in for weigh-in and I had 1.9 kilos with 3 fish, to put us in 28th position. So that was a terrible day. Now you must know, if you go back to Rudekoppies, where I lost that fish in the afternoon, that was the beginning of my slump. Vijgeboom I blanked, Loskop I blanked, Rudekoppies only 3 fish. So it was a bit of a slump. But that was our last comp that we've done so far. Next up is the Arabi Classic, 2 days on the water there.
We are
very
looking
excited.
forward to that big time.
Very excited for that. I think we're going to crush it. We've got some good tactics. We've got tons and tons of spots, and we're going to try push up further up the river. It's extremely scary because you have to go through a bunch of tree stumps, and it's a new boat. I don't really feel like taking the gearbox out just yet.
Yes.
But we're going to give it a bash. We're going to see if we can get up higher up in the river and see what happens there.
That basically sums up the dams, positions, weights. Just to clarify for you guys that asked me in my comments where we came and all that, I hope that this video explained what we did in a very short, quick, precise explanation, places, weights, and all that type of stuff. Overall position, we actually don't know where we landed.
Not sure.
I reckon we about 16th overall.
But the Arabi Classic's not linked to that. It's a completely separate comp.
Yes.
We are finding out in a moment whether we are going to nationals with our position for the overall standings, and then the Arabi Classic is just the final sum up of the year. So we'll see how we do in the finals. Your bait of the year?
My bait of the year, to be very honest, my PB, that was obviously my best moment of the comp. Catching it on that lipless crankbait, it is my ultimate confident moving bait, and I think I do extremely well on it. But I think the most productive bait that I've fished throughout the season has to have been a 6 cents clout, any color. Just give me any color and I should catch on it. So favorite bait overall is that 6 cents clout. I'll leave it linked down below if you guys want to get it. What is your favorite bait throughout the season?
Either the 6 cents Divine swim bait, the bigger one.
That's a good one.
Either Nirvana,
Yeah.
White's done really well for me this year, and that silvery, that threadfin shad color, I think it's called.
Correct. Yes.
That, or the striker core, of course. Striker core is just the one. On that note, thank you to Tackle Cabin for sponsoring us this year. It was great. Thanks for all the support and the tackle.
Halfway throughout our season, we got 15 on Grace involved with our canned water. I know water you can just get out of the tap and it's free, but I think the cause of the canned water is extremely cool because it's eco-friendly and it's not plastic, so you can chuck it. If it does land up in the bush, it does disintegrate after a while instead of plastic. So yeah, check them out, and Zane, thank you for supporting my channel and obviously also James, and keeping us hydrated. But yeah, that's it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this recap, and leave comments down below if you guys want to see more recaps. Maybe you guys want to see recaps after every single video. I'm actually quite keen to do that as well. Hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, comment down below please, and we'll check you guys at the Derby Classics.